sure.
Give me a second. I just want to make sure
these two things connect. Yeah, we're good. We're live.
Yeah, we're good. We're live. There's about a 30-second delay, so it'll go black screen for a bit
on YouTube, but we are live.
Is anybody watching yet, or do I leave the interesting bits until
I
we've got
know
a few
there's nobody
more
watching.
watching?
It's a good 30-second delay.
I know there's nobody watching yet. There's a good 30-second delay.
I've adjusted the volume.
I've adjusted the volumes in the video
there might be a
settings.
good 30 seconds of where the audio.
There might be a
is
good
little
30
bit
seconds
janky.
of where the audio on the live is a little bit janky.
But
the last times we tested it today, it evens itself out real quick, so it should be good. But yeah, we're live.
Hello.
No.
Hello.
No. What a good start.
Love it.
Anybody in yet? I don't want to go through like, oh, hello everybody and welcome and all that.
I don't know. Let's have a quick look. Sorry, I've got like multiple screens open.
Maybe I can put like my DJ voice on when I was in sixth form when I used to do the discos.
There's no viewers yet.
There's no viewers yet. There's no chat yet.
But he automatically records into the YouTube channel.
He automatically records into the YouTube channel, so we can share away later. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I guess we're sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the channel that's going to cut through the bullshit, and we're just going to say it like it is. It's going to be live. It's going to be unscripted. So just we've got the wonderful Sam joining us today, and Sam. How are you, Sam?
So I've been gearing up all day.
It's kind of absolutely perfect time because we've got Reform UK. Have you seen their statement, Sam?
Not yet.
Not yet. Basically,
there you go for about twitching.
Basically, there's been a statement from Yusuf and Anderson, basically saying that Rupert Lowe has been making threats towards Yusuf and of bullying and inappropriate behaviours. So now they have suspended him. But I've since just learned, like a few minutes before come on, was that the complaints in December, but Reform chose to sit on it.
Of course,
so that kind of tells you they've been waiting for something to play out to use this. So Sam, I want your just gut reaction.
Rupert Lowe, if everyone, all five of them are just absolute trash. I'm born, and I would say, I believe that, completely. So the fact that they're making threats, I mean, it's because they're the people they prey on. But Reform itself is the hateful side. So I'm not surprised at all that they're making threats. 5 MPs, and none of them can get on the same page. The only time that happens is if they are past their own greed, their own hatred. So Rupert Lowe, who can't read off 5 names in the House of Parliament, Lee Anderson doesn't know about this, and the fact that the Met are aware of this,
Do you know what makes it even better? Well, not better, worse, but better. People watching Farage and his team refused to go on anti-bullying in the workplace because it was DEI. I mean, it's not DEI in the UK anyway, but that's
anti-bullying.
mute
Could
for
you
2
imagine
seconds?
a
I'm
one
going to
day
go
straight
mute for
with
2 seconds, boys, just to check this out.
No, we are. Just want to check it out.
Yeah, I don't think we're live.
No, we are. Just want to check it out.
No, we're not. Andres has just said we're not.
Yeah, I'm on the. Oh no, we are.
Are we? Happy
Yeah.
days. Keep going then.
Yeah, I don't know where we are.
Happy days. So what has this been for reform from your them with what reform and what Robert Lowe and Nigel Farage were going for tit for tat yesterday? What's the future for them now?
The past so tied to so many things that are just anti-British. I think Britain itself, its strength comes from its diversity. It comes from its multiculturalism. It always has done. Anyone who's ever said that Britain isn't multicultural really just means that they grew up in an isolated pocket. But the rest of us grew up in that multicultural. We've all benefited from it. Reform UK has always been one step back, trying to con as many people as possible.
Mm.
I've said before, I don't think they're a threat because the closer we get to the election,
The more pressure they're going to come under. It's the creature, not even the monster, but the creature that the Conservatives created as a skit. They just took it to the next level. They cranked the amp up to 11, but they didn't bother to actually sit back and think, what do we need as an actual party? So whether it falls apart in the next few weeks or the next couple of years,
my only concern with it is that there are good people who are going to get caught up in the con. And whenever anyone gets conned, you've got that first instance. Either you'll realize it was a con, you'll learn from it, you'll get better, you won't let it happen again, or you fall for it. And we know from countless studies from the Arabian Prince schemes, just send me 500 extra money and then I'll send you $1 million. If you get conned that once and then you fall for it the second time, it's so much harder to break that conditioning. So Reform are done, they're over. It's just how much damage are they going to do and who are they going to bring down with them? But they're done, it's over.
So do you think there's any merit in Farage going over to the Tories? Do you think that is a likelihood?
It's a good question. In a sane world, no, that shouldn't be the case. But Badnoch, Sunak, even Boris Johnson, they lunged the party trying to get the extreme right. I've said this before, the majority of the country is either central or central left. So that's where elections are won and lost. So with the Conservative Party jumping more to the right wing of politics, it's possible that Farage will do it because who else is there? Kemi Badnoch is an utter train wreck of a leader. This is a woman who said she never creates gaffes ever, and I can't count the amount she's done this week, and it's Friday. It's mind blowing. So I think it's a possibility. In which case, considering most people don't have a good opinion of Nigel Farage, I think that's a good thing. And I want Conservatives to change their leader as soon as possible, because there's always a grace period. So if Nigel does jump on the Conservative bandwagon within, say, 6 months of the next election, or it's someone completely unheard of, or Bobby Jenrick, for God's sake, that impossible man. If he does become Conservative leader 6 months, 7 months, 8 months before the general election,
that is going to favour the Conservatives because the wider public will give him the benefit of the doubt. They'll give him that grace. I can see Nigel going to the Conservatives, but I don't know if he'll want to. I can see how he is going to get that every single time he goes in front of the camera.
Sorry, Quad.
I was going to say, leading on from what you just said, Sam, like, I can see Farage going to the way. He's going to want that entire right-wing side of the Tories on his side, and it's going to, in the process, which side of the sword do you want to look at on that? It's interesting to see how reform see a way through this jungle of Trump and Vance and Elon versus the European Union discussions. Sorry, it's a bit of a maze inside my head.
Yeah, it's an impossible position for the Conservatives to be in because their whole mantra is copy what the American Republicans do every single time. But the UK, the public appearance is we care about our military, we care about our vets. They don't actually, but that's the impression that they constantly give off to the British military. That's had a massive effect. The Conservatives are sort of split. Now, under Boris Johnson, that was it. That was the only goalpost. You didn't have to have competence in anything. You just had to support Brexit. So that sort of isolated a lot of the to be part of it than outside of it, which pushed us further towards America.
But if America, or I should say, if Trump and Vance are having this public persona of hating on the British military, that's something that they just can't support. Otherwise, they're a dead party. But a similar thing did happen in Canada. Say a similar thing. What I mean by that is the Canadian version of the Conservatives and a version of Reform. That did happen, and the Canadian version did break down, and they came back more right wing than ever before. So we might very well see an amalgamation of the Conservatives and Reform UK in the next few years. But because of Trump and Vance, it's put the Conservatives in a spot where they've either got to betray America, which is something that they love, or publicly betray the British forces, which they can't do.
So all that mean then, we've talked about the right, and we're seeing over the last few months that Starmer's started to creep to the right. Is that something you see continuing to try and keep up or try and fend off what's happening with Reform?
My biggest criticism of Starmer is that he doesn't know where his voting base is. The Labour Party have always been terrible at their PR. They seem to think legacy media is going to be as nice to them as they are the Conservatives. And they're never going to be, ever. It's just not going to happen. And they don't know how to use social media. So they don't know how to get their message across. All the good stuff that they're doing, they don't know what to do. So yeah, Starmer has gone further to the right without understanding his voting base is centre-left. I think Corbyn lost because he was too far on the left. He was good for people like me. I'm a democratic socialist. I liked what he was doing, but he had to go because he lost to Boris Johnson. That's as simple as it becomes. And Starmer is running the risk of doing the exact same thing that the Conservatives are doing, trying to get the right-wing votes. He's never, ever going to appeal to Reform UK members or Reform UK supporters on immigration, because whatever he does, they've deported more failed asylum seekers than the Conservatives did in 2 years. Doesn't matter, because Reform can always say, well, we'd do more. We wouldn't let them come at all. We'd stop them from coming at all. That's how we'd save you money. And yet he's still trying to grab those people rather than screaming from the rooftops all the good stuff he's doing. So it's a concern I've got. I hope someone can some sense into him, but I can see him going a little more to the right. Hopefully nothing conservative, but yeah, it's a fear. It's definitely something that's worth keeping an eye on.
Does he need to go?
What, out of Downing Street?
Yeah.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I know, right?
unlike the Conservatives, there are competent people to replace Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
The difficulty that I've got, I personally don't think he should, not yet. If he
I
keeps
agree.
going where he's going, then yeah, I'd say. Looking at his record as a CPS, he went after some of the worst of this country. He went after some of the worst that in Ukraine and Russia is looking to expand, given that America has come out and publicly said we have no them. I am okay for the moment, at the very least, with having someone who has a legal background, someone who has that legal mentality, because that's something I want legally correct statement and not understand it, or to completely understand.
Yeah.
My main job is insurance, so I have to say things legally. 12 months. Have you suffered from any medical conditions which you're currently taking or being prescribed regular medication? We would all understand that as last 12 months. Well, it's taken a 17 years. If you have, I need to know what it is. Otherwise, this document you're signing, you're paying me for, doesn't cover you for anything. So the mindset of a legal profession through the difficult stages, and right now we're in such a difficult position that I'm okay with stuff with being in number 10 right now.
Okay. We're going to cover. So well done on that one, because I was thinking, how do we get there? You've done well done.
Perfect.
So just for a bit of background, obviously, relationship. Can you just start at the beginning? Just summarize the beginning, the relationship with the UK right at the start.
I mean, we're going back a long, long time in the Ukraine issue. This is, in my opinion, this is Europe's problem. Because in 2014, Russia invaded, and Europe would have been easy as anything to do something about it then. We chose not to. So if you leave any issue, it gets worse. It gets worse.
Yeah.
Great. Now we're limited with what we can do because we left the European Union. So we're limited with the support we can give. The 40 years of Conservatives, we used to have soft power. And in my opinion, soft power is far more important than hard power. Like we had the ability to whisper in people's ears, don't do this thing, do that genocide. We invaded practically everywhere. So because of that, we had a lot of respect. Then we removed ourselves from decision-making tables, con artists. So when something happens, like Russia invaded another country, we didn't have the military might to say let's be the last war fought on European soil.
That was meant to be it, because before then, 800 years, constant warfare from one country to another. So leaving that was a massive, massive problem. And Europe did nothing. Europe did nothing. We did nothing when Russia invaded Ukraine. Realistically, we offered little bits of cover here and there, but the main thing of it was the Budapest Memorandum.
Mhm.
So I might be using wrong terminology, but effectively that was America, the big dog in the yard, said, hey, Ukraine, if you get rid of some of your more devastating stuff, if something happens, we'll step in. Like the big brother, you know? If you went to school, your big brother, if someone starts picking on you, your big brother, but your big brother will step in for you. They haven't done that. They were starting to do that with Biden, but now they're just come out in Ukraine.
money and it's a corrupt government, and every government's going to be corrupt at some level because we're talking about a lot of people. We'll find corruption everywhere.
Absolutely.
Because the Ukraine government was quite right wing, or that's
Yeah.
it was quite, a lot of people in Ukraine were far right as well. So it's kind of
Yeah.
conundrum for some people.
And but the bottom line with the corruption is, was Zelensky democratically voted in? Yeah,
Mm.
he was. Yeah. Some people said, oh, he's a failed comedian, failed this, that, and the other. Okay, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't speak Ukraine, so I'm not going to watch a TV show.
But he was voted in. He got that vote. And he also went to the front lines.
Mm.
Like that, for me, that's a big deal. And that's part of why in the fight, he's still going. And the UK now, in fact, Europe right now is in a really difficult position because the analogies I'd like to use is for Jimmy now. The issue that we've got right now is the Emperor is wearing no clothes. Are we telling the Emperor this? Are we pointing out the humiliation of this? So the Emperor is America. America is led by a dumbass. Are we now going to publicly humiliate them and publicly cut them out of things? If we don't, we're in trouble. If we do, we're still in trouble because America is the big dog. Their economy, their military support for this, that, and the other, it's so expansive.
I was going to ask you just before we pull away from America, because obviously we had the announcement yesterday that the refugees, the Ukrainian refugees in America are now going to be deported. What impact is this?
It's a little bit like Elon doing the salute. We all knew this is just confirmation that he did whatever Russia told him to do. We can argue about why this is and why we can speculate on why this is, but there's not a doubt about it. He's very much in favour. And this is just that final little twist of the knife, if you like.
So do you think this is the we are now united against this? We are not with Trump. We are and basically have a show of force, if you like, in doing.
Some political leaders
across Europe are already having this discussion. There was a vote recently in the European Union with how much support Europe is going to now send to Ukraine. Hungary vetoed it.
Mhm.
So Europe as a whole, the EU basically said, okay, we can't do it that way. Let's give the support in another way where we don't have to rely on this vote so it can't be vetoed.
So behind closed doors, I adamant these conversations have been happening for a while, not just in the last few weeks, but I'm sure it's just started having these conversations. When it's public, that's a difficult situation. The way that we think about things, the way that we view different scenarios, that is influenced by the media that we consume. As we need to support Ukraine, the Russian propaganda is BS, or it's irrelevant, and that needs a lot of preparation that needs to be done to cut out the US, to mitigate a lot of the damage that the rest of the world, and he's definitely, if Trump decides that he's been humiliated and wants to retaliate, because at the end of the day, this is a man who doesn't like to read more than half a page. We know he's a vindictive prick. We know the things that he's been accused of. We know the actions. We know that one of his wives said her hair and did things I don't think I can
I
so
think
we
you
know that.
can say these
Sorry, I
things
didn't mean
on
to
this
interject.
platform.
You absolutely
Sorry,
can.
I didn't mean to
Feel free
interject.
say these things.
You absolutely
because
can and you
I can
should
feel your
feel
passion
free
and
to say these things.
absolutely forget that you're on a
Forget
TikTok,
that
man,
you're on
and
a
just get those
TikTok,
feelings
man,
out.
and just get those feelings out.
No.
Basically, it's
This
on
is not.
Paul.
This
Paul
is
is this
not.
platform.
No.
so
This is not my
This
platform.
is not.
This is going to be
This
the
is not
company-owned platform by everyone
you're
on
on a
Discord.
Discord.
And Sam,
And Sam,
absolutely
absolutely get those fucking
Sorry,
feelings
man, I didn't mean to
out.
interject.
Sorry, man, I didn't mean to interject.
This cunt. He's just point blank. So, one of his wives, she in court said getting those stupid fucking hair implants was going to hurt. And it hurt. So his response, this is who is in charge of nuclear weapons. Let's forget the stupidity of wanting to drop a nuclear weapon on a fucking hurricane, because we are dealing with a vindictive, sadistic narcissist who does not care about anyone on the face of the earth we're dealing with.
As long as they're
As
white.
long as they're white.
That orange. But the moment that Europe, the moment that we America, because it is going to be fuck you America, not fuck you Trump. For all the great Americans out there, like they're going to be hit with this as well. Constantly stand up and say that we're dealing with someone who's very unpredictable. So it's
Right. Can I just ask you?
I might digress a little bit. But obviously, we're seeing the support for Ukraine, the weapons. We've had the military training. There's the potential of the peacekeeping troops going over. But yet, the government is still so silent on Palestine. What's the difference in your mind? Because the atrocities that are being committed in Palestine far outweigh what's actually happened to Ukraine thus far. I'm not diminishing what's happening. I'm just basically saying we are seeing a genocide committed, and it's not getting the same attention. Why do you think that is?
So there's one very, very simple answer, and it's not going to make anyone feel nice. Ukrainians look like you and me. Palestinians don't. That's it. That's the difference. That's the only difference why we've got one attitude to one group of people who are being taken off the face of the earth, and another group who are constantly being raped, being murdered, are having children slaughtered, or having their homes demolished. And people love to say, well, if Hamas just stopped, okay, sure, let's go along with that. No.
Yeah, I just want to clarify there for people who are listening or somebody who might not know.
This did not start on October 7th.
no.
It did not start at that point. So let's just get rid of that argument once and for all. Do away with it. This is century we're being raped and abused on a daily basis, and we've turned a blind eye as a government. But we've even armed them to an extent. We've got one in Newcastle down from me, which is on its, and I can never get my head around it. Why we don't, or why the government can't see it? Because the only person I see actually in Parliament ever, and it absolutely destroys me that nobody's speaking up about this. But yeah, we'll all jump up. We'll all be united for Ukraine.
Yeah.
Drives me.
It's sad. I don't know. I struggle to.
But it's heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
It's heartbreaking. If you've got any shame and not fight back
No,
tears,
No, you can't.
it's horrendous. It's absolutely diabolical, and it's made all the MPs who are just dead silent. So many MPs who are, maybe I need to pick my words carefully with this one and not go through it. And I understand not wanting to cause Conservatives were in power and they were because in that situation, and this was after October,
I made it very clear there is nothing that Angela Rayner or Keir Starmer can do to make the situation better. This is before they were in charge, but they can make things worse. Irish ministers had stood up and condemned Israel for the genocide they're carrying out. And Israel responded by detaining Irish travellers in Israel. So there was nothing that Labour could have done that could have made anything better, but they could have made the situation so much worse. Now they're in a position where they could do something, but they're not. They're choosing to remain silent. They're choosing to remain politically coy. And as I said beforehand, it's because Palestinians aren't as pale as you and me, but Ukrainians are. So we give sympathy to the Ukrainians, we don't give sympathy to the Palestinians, and it's fucking repulsive.
I'm trying to fight an argument against what you're saying, just to try and provide more of a discussion, but I'm struggling. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to Ukraine, because I think we could do a whole, we could do 5 or 6 podcasts just on Palestine.
We did the next one.
But well, let's just compare. Let's compare.
Just one more bit, because a lot of what we're seeing played out is driven by the media narrative.
yeah,
And it's the same in the media that well, kind of Ukraine, but you don't see it for Palestine at all. And everybody's demonized for supporting Palestine. You can't support Palestine without somebody calling you a xenophobe to try and shut down the debate. Oh, wow. I don't know where I was going with that, so apologies. It's just,
it's an emotional topic.
but the media's driving that narrative, and the government are allowing the media to drive that narrative and grab the headlines. Wow. I want Starmer to have a backbone and just say something. Don't necessarily dive in. You don't have to do that at this moment in time. Well, you do, but just stand up and say something. Just say the words, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, it's
Because the longer he doesn't, the more I'm convinced there are Labour MPs in the pockets of Israel.
see with that, I can say I'm not part of Labour, but I did vote for Labour last general election, because politics is not about what you want; it's about what you're least opposed to. And I was least opposed to Mike Tapp, my MP, and so far I think he's done a fucking fantastic job. But with the party being as big as it is, you're going to have anti-Semites, but you're going to have people who are in the pocket of Israel. And it wouldn't take much for Keir Starmer to come out. I can understand beforehand what did so. Our court has now said that a politician shouldn't be making those kind of statements unless a court has deemed it. A court's now deemed it. Absolutely maddening. But I was going to say, I can understand the whole religious side of things. If you've got family members or if you've got friends who are of that religion, you're not likely to start criticising. But even then, it just doesn't work. The religion is not the thing that's at the issue here. It's the Israeli government. It's not the Israeli people, because some of the biggest protests against what the Israeli government is doing, it's a government thing. It's not a religious thing. It's not an ideology thing. It's one side is clearly being a cunt pushed out of the history.
That's the thing, because whenever you try and have a conversation with somebody, you must be a Hamas supporter, you must be a terrorist supporter. Right, let's just put this in context. You don't need to support Hamas, but the reality of it is, if somebody is going to bomb the hell out of your world, is going to kill and maim and rape your friends, your family, your children, they're going to destroy your businesses, your livelihood, your entire universe, at some point you're going to strike back. Doesn't matter who you are, you will strike back. So it's irrelevant
that it was Hamas. Somebody else would have stepped up.
They would have. They would
It,
have.
it would have happened regardless. Like, I want people to just stop having that fucking title to defend themselves, because that's all we keep hearing, is that Israel has the right to defend its country. Well, what the fuck's Palestine doing? What's the difference? It's like when Israel have got prisoners, Palestine are holding hostages.
Yeah.
This is disgusting. This is happening day after day after day, to turn a blind eye to the genocide that's happening in Palestine.
There was sorry, I think I can scratch.
No. I'm going to end up going off on a tangent, so somebody else might need to come in and get well back.
I was going to say that there was a report a little while ago with prisoners being released from Romania. Some of these prisoners were kids. No one in the media was asking, why the fuck were kids arrested?
Yeah.
No one. That was just completely aside.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back on track. I'm going to be conducive to
I do apologise, boys. I've been fighting a few video and
I
sound settings
do
in the background.
apologise, boys. I've been fighting a few video and
It's been
sound
kind of
settings in the background.
audio
And
janky audio.
janky
Andreas
audio.
has
And Andreas has been giving
So
loads
far,
of
so good.
feedback as we go.
I'm going to go back on mute.
But so far, so good. And I'm just like, I'm going to go back on mute and just piss.
I thought a rant, that'll be awful for anybody. So I do apologise for taking you off on a slight transgression.
Go for the rant.
I think one of the things that we need to discuss that with that's being spread on social media about the plans to put boots on the ground, for want of a better word, and it is
a peacekeeping exercise. It's not to go and fight a war. And can you just clear that whole thing up for people?
I can try. So this might surprise people. We've had boots on the ground. We've had boots on the ground for a long time now. I actually have a friend who has been training Ukrainian soldiers, so we are involved already. The thing of it is, with the peacekeepers there, we've boots on the ground. If you're not going to
horrible turn of phrase from me, I didn't mean to throw you there. It was
no, you're fine. It's a phrase that I like, but it's misused quite a bit.
yes, absolutely.
But I can say to you, hey, we're gonna have one-to-one sessions because I'm a team leader in a mental health support group. Shameless plug. I can say to you, hey, you know what? You've done a stressful job. There's some stress there. There's maybe some depression, maybe some anxiety, maybe PTSD, maybe something like that. We're going to do one-to-one sessions and we're going to work through it. And you're going to feel crap. You're going to feel great, but you're going to learn how to cope. And it's going to take a long time. That means absolutely nothing if I don't show up. Absolutely nothing. So we can put all the pieces and go in. If you bomb another building with civilians in, like you've been doing for fucking ages, well, we're going to do something. But if we don't show up, if we've not got them, so this notion of boots on the ground, of peacekeepers being there, I can't say it's not going to happen this way, but on the front line. I mean, Brits will be the support, if anything, and we're only going to get involved with actually open fire on people. Just it's just showing up, basically.
Yeah. The other thing I want to clarify with you, because again, in aid to Ukraine, and I say the smirk on your face because go for it.
Okay.
Do I like what?
Bows and arrows.
that completely when I was
Yeah,
young,
I know.
I had a good go at it a few times. Yeah.
Used to. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, £1,000, I can get you an amazing boat for £1,000. You interested? No? Okay. Well, you kind of destroyed my whole thing there.
Go on then. I am up.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay.
Even the change.
Just to make me.
So I'm not going to send you the money because then you're not going to get a good deal. Because I'm going to go straight to the manufacturer. I'm going to go straight to the production warehouse, straight to the boat who's going to create the thing,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get it for you. So you're going to have £1,000's worth of archery gear, but you're not going to have the money for it. How's that sound?
Okay, keep going.
That's exactly what's happening. We're not giving Ukraine blanket statements. In fact, it's even worse than that. It's far more limited than that because we're actually telling Ukraine how they can use our weapons. So we're not giving them money and then they're buying stuff from American companies.
Mhm.
We're buying them from American companies and the American munition companies and Brits and everything else, and then they're sending it to Ukraine with explicit instructions on how these weapons can be used. You can't use it to shoot that guy over there, but if that guy comes over here, then you can. Otherwise, we take all the support back. So we're not funneling a ton of money. We're just not. But there is a cost to war, which again circles back to what I said at the very start. If we'd have done something in 2014, this wouldn't be a conversation we'd be having. But we didn't. And we left it. And we left
Well,
it. we
there's
left
just been a new agreement signed about how many billion are going to be sent over to Ukraine. Can you just clarify that bit as well, please?
So I've not seen the exact figure, but it is a similar sort of concept. So
But where's that money coming from in the first instance? Is kind of what I'm getting at.
oh, okay. So there's various funds with various companies, countries. So within the EU, for example, they have various forms of foreign aid, they have various forms of military spending, various forms of defence, and so on and so forth. So we're going to have to up our military spending. Starmer was increasing it anyway,
Mhm.
because we're still far less than what we were back in 2010. But this will be a part of military spending. With the UK specifically, it's one of those really annoying things because they're not good at spending money. Like our military is not good at spending money. They're very bad at budgets, which is why everyone who served in the army will complain about the rifle that they've been given because they're shit. But it's effectively going to be a mix of defence spending because this is how we justify it, and foreign aid because this is how we justify it. So it's not money that's, we can't take money from pensions or from healthcare or stuff like that. We've got to defend it. We've got to divide it somewhere. Ironically, this is one of the things that might actually push for a European army. That this might see something that is the prototype to what that might turn into. Because if Europe's going to collectively understand there needs to be some defence, because no invader ever just stopped at one country, then this is going to push them towards it. So if European defence spending is going to go up, this is effectively where that money is going to come from.
Yeah, I think when I read about it in terms of, I was doing a little bit of research about foreign aid and what it costs and what we get back in return in terms of trade deals and all the rest of it. And it's something like over the years, it's particularly like for every pound that we spend on defence or supporting other countries, we save £4 in the long term.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if we had intervened right at the start, we probably would have saved a lot more money.
I think the point I was kind of getting at was that there was a conversation about Russian assets being used to fund part of that as well. No. All right, that's all right. Religion in this country, because of the war, I don't know.
It's an absolute minefield
Field of like
where the money
money
is going. Like
streams are going.
it's like how do you unpack it?
It's like, how do you unpack it?
Is um, in a slightly cheeky bastard way, we could
for
just say, okay, well, yeah, fuck you, but you should have it.
Like honestly, simplistically,
Yeah, I think
sometimes
sometimes
we
we
should
should
fucking do that.
just fucking do that.
The problem with that one, though, is
A long time ago.
the Sun has said, and
Oh, yeah, a
the
long time
European
ago.
Union itself doesn't really have the ability to do that. So it would be a political decision. So
Yeah, I know.
every single democracy has to have a separation of legal professionals and separation of political professional judicial.
Yeah.
And politicians can't tell legal professionals what's right and wrong. They can come up with the laws, they can say it's illegal, and the politician says no, it's not. The politician is wrong, and they can't get the legal professional, the judge, to change, say, fuck you, Russia. We're going to fucking use your money to defeat your own fucking army. We should say that. The difficulty is the legal fallout for that. And it's only here what stops us from doing it elsewhere. What if France decides that they're going to freeze asylum seekers in this country? That's a massive problem. Because to seek asylum in this country, you've got to risk your life coming across the channel. It's a situation now. So the only difficulty there is, does it set a precedent? Can that precedent be repeated? And what's the like? Fuck you, Russia. You take
Obviously, leaving the EU, we lost the Dublin Agreement and the
I
return.
mean, obviously leaving the EU, we lost it.
And it's a common
And it's a common theme when talking to the reformed meat that have zero idea about how immigration works.
Sorry, I'm kind of losing my train of thought there. But I'm on the old pro-EU side.
I'm on the old
which is
pro-EU side, which is we have really aligned with the EU to have a common policy on this.
There's no other way of doing it.
There's no other way of doing it.
Because otherwise, we're literally sailing alone mid-Atlantic.
Because otherwise, we're literally.
you could be talking about anything at this.
Yeah, true.
I didn't realise we've been going for so long.
That's cool.
And I don't think I've even touched on a third of what I was going to touch
That's all
on,
good,
because
man.
I'm kind of just like drifting. Another thing
That's all good, man.
fascinates me, Sam, especially what we're seeing playing out again in the media and on social media, is this right-wing push to summon the enemy. And I struggle to pinpoint where that happened, other than with Reform.
It happened before that. It happened with, oh god, so many fucking things. So the Conservative Party, when they were in charge, in Russian interference in UK policy, in UK politics. Stop it outright. I forget which year it was. It's been very long. The UK citizen on UK soil, the Home Secretary at that time went to the UN did his little photo dance that he had to do, and then did. Later on, this same Home Secretary, who was Boris Johnson, put the same son of a KGB agent into the House of Lords, cementing. Yeah.
Lebedev.
But even then, that wasn't the start of it. Russia has been giving the Conservatives a lot of money for a long time.
Yeah.
It's easier to buy a Conservative politician than it is someone who's on the left wing. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying Mark shady motherfuckers on the left.
Of course
But
there
it's
are.
just easier for us and also doesn't like talking shit about Russia. Point blank doesn't like it. But a lot of Conservatives don't like doing it as well because they do get kickbacks. They do, a lot of their money comes from. So it's difficult to pinpoint where exactly the perception changed. There are 3 countries on the face of the planet where you can start your asylum process without physically being in the UK. One of them is Ukraine, because Boris Johnson and his government came out and said, well, come on, you're not going to offer these people fucking asylum, are you? You know, if you, the public, want humiliated Boris Johnson and said, okay, we'll do it, we'll start fucking taking in asylum seekers from Ukraine.
And so he then had to change things, and then he had to start offering asylum to Ukrainians. So, like with everything in the political world, nothing is quick. Everything's taken a long time to build on, and it always starts with something tiny, always with something small that you can start building on and start building on and start building on. So the turn that we're seeing hasn't just started. It's been going on for a long time. It's now starting on it than there is against Palestine and Israel. But
So let's just jump to the end and just so I'm aware of time.
What's the solution? How do we get there?
It's not a good solution.
Well,
It's not a good solution at all. So there's a couple of things we can do. Well, I say we, as a species, there's a couple of things that can be done. You can remove Trump, and you can get someone who's not in the pocket of Russia. Problem is, if you remove Trump, got to remove Vance, because JD Vance will just carry on.
if you remove them, you then get the Speaker of the House. I honestly have no idea where the Speaker of the House in America sits. Don't know who it is at this point in time. So I don't know where they would stand on that. So that, in terms of viability, it's not really going to. He's pointing out to the Emperor that he's wearing no clothes and humiliating him. Now, this means that Europe and the rest of the world that isn't pro-Russia is because American culture is everywhere, because American e-commerce is everywhere, practically the entire so entwined. Cutting America out is incredibly painful. It's effectively going to be Brexit, but be the UK in that situation. So right now, Europe is making decisions, and unfortunately because of Brexit, but the only way around this is to start cutting off America bit by bit from trade, bit by bit from security, bit by bit
from intelligence agencies, and that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt everyone. It's going to hurt America more, but it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt Europe. It's going to hurt China. It's going to hurt Japan. It's going to hurt South Korea. It's going to hurt everyone. But that's the only way to do it. And then once that is done, there's no going back. and the next person comes into the White House, we can't just suddenly go, okay, yeah, now we're going to revoke on all that stuff. Like, no, no. I've done a video before on my TikTok channel, and I said that this is the end of the American empire, because I truly think that it is. There is no situation, unless Trump is going to spin on a dime and say, yeah, change my mind, we're now going to support Ukraine. There is no situation where America walks away strong. And the weaker America gets, the stronger the European Union is going to get, the stronger Europe as a continent is going to get. It's going to be painful. It's going to be really painful.
And when Trump is done and someone else comes into the White House who's not a Russian puppet, that trade's not going to go back. That defense every other country is not going to come back. But that's realistically, that's the solution. Cut America out from everything that's and build up European strength. What I think the interesting question is, when this happens, when America finally falls low enough, which power is going? And it's not the UK. We're not big enough anymore. But I think that's going to be the interesting one. Who's going to replace? I've got you thinking now, haven't I?
You have. I've probably got another 2 hours in my head to get back on to explore this a bit more. Yeah, I don't think I can go into the stuff I wanted to go into, but I was going to keep you here for some how we'll bring it forward to another one. I think just to wrap things up a little bit, the last 5-10 minutes, basically just bring it back in this last week in politics. Is there anything particularly caught your eye? There's been a lot. There's been an awful lot.
Okay. Well, Richard Tice doesn't know who it's got interest in. Kerry Badenoch has sort of bitten America. And, you know, we all know she doesn't make gaffes. So there's another one. Politics is meant to be boring. The most exciting thing about politics should be yes, Minister, and yes, Prime Minister. That should be the most. It has died down. We're not seeing as many scandals, but because of everything outside of Labour, outside of the UK, it's so yeah, Reform are falling apart, which is fun. It's always fun to see. Kerry Badenoch has emulated.
Come on, you can't be fair. Badenoch humiliates us. Doesn't as possible when she's asleep, but I can't confirm.
But she does an outrageous decision to bite America in order to sort of try and save face.
It's a bit like watching when your stomach's curling. Yeah. Well, that's probably a good place. It's absolutely nagging sack here. I'm usually horizontal by this time. No, Sam, it's been absolutely brilliant, and we need to have a conversation with you back on, because I think there's a load of little bits that we talked about that we could delve a lot deeper on.
Absolutely.
So I think we need to get you back on. I think what might be good is say, like, go to war.
Well,
I mean, Couldn't
Just a heads up, there's a couple of sound issues throughout the live
Might have
that
caused a couple of janky
Right.
moments.
might have
but
caused a
on the
couple
whole,
of
it went okay.
janky
Um,
moments, but on the
I
whole
think
it went
we've
okay.
sorted them.
It's just teething issues.
Apologies,
Apologies,
Sam.
Sam.
It's
It's
just
just
one
one of those.
So we're off
No,
here
no,
now.
we're on.
Sorry?
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
off
totally.
now.
No, we're on. Still.
Um,
Still on.
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Waist down.
From the waist down, you should be whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We'll forget about that
Um,
one. It seems ago. Was that just me? I used to just rock alcohol.
I just want to add. Look, I really want
I
this
just
TV
wanna add,
channel to be,
controlled by
the group we have in Discord
the
now.
group we have in Discord now.
It'd be amazing to see lots of different contributors and
It'd be amazing to see
creators
lots of different
really
contributors
showcase their stuff
and
not be held
not
back,
be
by
held
the censorship of
back
TikTok.
by the censorship
That's
of
my main
TikTok.
thing, you know. It's like,
That's
how
my
many times
main
do I post something on
thing,
TikTok
you
and
know.
can't
It's
say
like,
that, can't
how many
say
times do we post something on to say a thing, mustn't say a word?
I got post straight away. I mentioned Council Scum and post today, and I was recording his name.
Yeah.
Take this. Oh,
That's a
come
shite.
on.
Yeah, I know.
I had my account shut down.
Yeah.
Responding to a comment. Responding to a
How many followers did you have before your account was shut down?
How many followers did you have before your account was
just
shut
over
down?
4,000.
No,
So
that's
I wasn't huge because I don't tend to do a lot of lives, but yeah, I tend to respond.
Well, I think over the
That's
next
too
over the next
much,
week it'd be
isn't
great
it?
to do lots of shared
Well, I
lives.
think
and
over the
Chris
next week it'd be great to
Lots
do
of
lots of
shared
shared
lives
lives.
promote the channel.
Promote the channel. I will work my
arse
ass off to sort out the tech issues that's going on with the lives.
We've got some fabulous
Fabulous.
those creators ready to come on. They're going to blow your mind, honestly. I'm going to do some
Next
bits
week
up
with
on
Megan
some of the
coming on,
things
she's
that
going to
they're
blow
coming
your
on
mind.
with.
Next week
Her
with
knowledge
Megan
of
coming on,
immigration
she's
law.
like,
I've got no idea.
I know.
I've got no idea.
I don't know if you noticed, Sam, but I tried to be more eloquent with my speech today. To match with your good self. I don't think it worked.
Lee, I'm a Dover boy.
I know, you're very eloquent. The way you enunciate your words, you've got a way of you have.
You are, Sam. You're great.
You are, and it's
Yeah, you are, Sam.
because when you listen to your content, and I think it'd be great if we can drop in the comments or whatever.
Yeah, I've linked it.
TikTok name.
Yeah, I've linked
listen to
it.
yours, talking shite. You know what I mean? You're automatically drawn to that voice where I'm like, I've got these dulcet tones, which are like, but I like to sit and watch your videos because I'm
Yeah,
drawn.
totally,
I
Sam.
don't mean that patronise. No, honestly, I really do enjoy them because I know I'm going to get. Because some of mine I just want to be, fuck off. To explain and educate people, and I think that is
Really
absolutely
engaging.
fabulous. And it's great for other creators coming out, but particularly for those people who are sitting on the fence and think, right, I've got that knowledge now. I can make
That's the person I'm actually responding.
Yeah.
Talking to Steve, who's left the shoot comment. I'm talking to Dave, who's on the fence. Because if they heard you,
yeah, absolutely. And I think definitely if I was sitting need to make a decision. And I think that's one thing about TikTok and other social media platforms is that you're not telling people how to think.
Yeah,
And
it's this sort of dates back to when I had my own YouTube channel and I was doing for thinking and feeling the way that they were, which is now going to highlighted and feel this one. I can only highlight that the information basis is incorrect. It's why I
Mhm.
can say something fucking stupid and racist. So it's taking everything.
I think you do really well. We need to plug your channel on here.
I've been touched. I've said this in the Discord.
Me.
The support I've had from you guys, because again, like 4,000
It's a reach, man.
it's not huge, but
It's a reach, man.
I think we've got the makings for it.
Oh fuck yeah.
We are
Oh, fuck yeah.
organised.
Yeah, we're coming.
We are
Yeah,
going to come quietly.
I've got to sort
We
out
are
the
gonna
tech
kick
issues.
the
There's been a
fucking
couple
door.
of times. I do apologise. All guys,
guys, all guys, sorry.
There's
There's
janky,
been a
janky.
few
We'll get there.
jankiness, but you know, we'll get there.
Come with take
Look, Sam,
Look, Sam,
absolute pleasure.
pleasure.
Sam, I think I do.
No, just
Hey,
My brain
Let's
ready.
go.
Still, it's we're
Yeah,
finished. We're off
Lee, if you no,
YouTube.
we're still streaming. If you need to go, just go, man. Just
if you no,
have a vape. Do you know? I'll stop the stream and you can just crack. I'll stop.
do you
the
know?
stream,
I'll,
crack
do you know? I'll
on chatting.
stop the streaming. You can
You'll be banned
on a
if
minute,
you
I'll stop the
if you
stream.
follow
hold on a
me
minute. I'll stop the
YouTube.
stream. 1 second.
Done. Done.
Perfect. Fuck,
Yeah.
I'm only ever capable of like sitting up for an hour maximum at any one time.
Bollocks. Hold on. Bollocks. Hold on.
You get to our age, Sam, and you realise that your body's just fucked.
mate, I train in combat sports. I'm already fucked. I get out of bed, everything cracks.
Just getting out of bed. But do you know what it is? I've just had to spend and it's going to take 3 months to fucking deliver it just so I can get in and out of bed easy enough. Because I struggle to sit up. So I have to